Hi, welcome back. For today's video, we will talk about the current and important privacy issues including data breaches, consumer profiling, workplace monitoring, and advanced surveillance technology. Most alarming number of identity theft incidents can be traced back to data breaches involving large databases of personal information. Data breaches are sometimes caused by hackers breaking into a database, but more often than one might suspect, they are caused by carelessness or failure to follow proper security procedures. For example, a laptop computer containing the encrypted names, birth dates, and social security numbers of 26.5 million US veterans was stolen from a home of a veteran affairs analyst. Well, first of all, the analyst worker violated existing VA policy because she did not remove the data from his workplace. Warning, warning, warning. If you're using a personal laptop to work on sensitive data in the workplace, and if you go somewhere else with your computer, please remove all sensitive data you are working on. Here are some biggest data breaches in Southeast Asia. Philippines, May 2018, Wendy's and Jollibee asked to take preventive measures against data breaches. The National Privacy Commission of the Philippines gave popular fast food chain Jollibee Foods Corporation 10 days in May 2018 to come up with a plan to rehabilitate the vulnerabilities on its website, which could expose the data of millions of customers in the case of breach. In addition to this, the NPC also ordered Jollibee to employ privacy by design in re-engineering GFC Group data infrastructure. The NPC emitted these cautionary warnings after Wendy's, another used fast food chain with operation in the Philippines, was subject to a data breach earlier in the year. There are over 80,000 records, including users' personal data, were exposed following an infiltration by hackers of Wendy's Philippines website. The NPC reported that around 82,150 records of customers and job applicants, included names, addresses, password, payment method, and transaction details, were compromised in the leak. In relation to the case, the NPC issued an order addressed to Wendy's in Philippines to inform users affected by the data breach. The document gave a 72-hour extension for the fast food chain company to comply. And Cebuana's marketing server breach. More than 900,000 clients of Philippine-based pawn shop Cebuana Lumiere, or popularly known as Cebuana, were affected by a data breach at the beginning of 2019. According to the pawn shop remittance company, the figure represented only 3% of its total clientele. On the official statement released by Cebuana, it was revealed that customers' compromised information included date of birth, addresses, and source of income. It also said that transaction details were not compromised and the company's main servers remained safe and protected. The breach involved an email server used for marketing, and although attempts to infiltrate one of its servers were detected in January 25, unauthorized downloads went back to August 2018. Before we proceed, let us look on some of the IT terminologies used in preceding topics. HTTP cookies or Internet cookies are built especially for Internet web browsers to track, personalize, and save information about each user's session. A user session just refers to the time you spend on the site. Cookies are created to identify you when you visit a new website. Companies openly collect personal information about users when they register at websites, complete survey, fill out forms, or enter contests online. Many companies also obtain information about web surfers through the use of cookies. It can be converted into text files that can be downloaded to the hard drives of users who visit the website, so that the website is able to identify visitors on subsequent visits. Companies also use tracking software to allow their websites to analyze browsing habits and deduce personal interest and preferences of consumers. Warning, warning, warning. The use of cookies and tracking software is controversial because companies can collect information about customers or consumers without their explicit permission. In early 2012, members of the Obama administration, digital advertisers, browser software manufacturers, and privacy advocates agreed in principle to create a Do Not Track button for web browser. The idea was to make it easy for the internet users to communicate their desire to not be tracked as they surf the web. Users of the Firefox, Explorer, or Safari web browsers can select a Do Not Track option so that the browser sends a message to each site visited that you do not wish to have cookies deposited on your computer. However, it is up to each individual website to decide if they will comply with your request to not be tracked. They are not required to honor your request. Outside of the web environment, marketing firms employ similarly controversial means to collect information about people and their buying habits. Each time a consumer uses a credit card, fills out a warranty card, answers a phone survey, buys groceries using a store loyalty card, the data is added to a storehouse of personal information about the consumer, which may be sold or shared with third parties. Marketing firms agreed that information they gather about customers to build databases that contain a huge amount of consumer data. They want to know as much as possible about consumers, who they are, what they like, how they behave, and what motivates them to buy. The marketing firms provide this data to companies so that they can tailor their products and services to individual consumers' preferences. Online marketers cannot capture personal information such as names, addresses, and social security numbers unless people provide them. Without this information, companies cannot contact individual web surfers who visit their sites. Data gathered about the user's web browsing through the use of cookies is anonymous as long as the network advertisers doesn't link the data with personal information. However, if a website visitor volunteers personal information, a website operator can use it to find additional personal information that the visitor may not want to disclose. For example, a name and address. It can be used to find a corresponding phone number, which can then lead to obtaining even more personal data. All this information becomes extremely valuable to the website operator, who is trying to build a relationship with website visitors and turn them into customers. The operator can use this data to initiate contact or sell it to other organizations with which they have marketing agreements. Consumer data privacy has grown into a major marketing issue. Companies that can't protect or don't respect customers' information often lose business, and some become defendants in class action lawsuits stemming from privacy violations. Opponents of consumer profiling are also concerned that personal data is being gathered and sold to other companies without permission of consumers who provide the data. After the data has been collected, consumers have no way of knowing how it is used or who is using it. Many workers waste large portion of their work time doing non-work related activity. One recent study revealed that between 60 to 80% of workers' time online has nothing to do with work. Another source estimates that on average, workers spend about 4 or 5 hours per week on personal matters. In a recent survey by an IT staffing firm, 54% of companies reported they were banning the use of social networking sites such as Facebook, Twitter, MySpace, and LinkedIn to help reduce waste at work. Refer to the references page from the book Ethics in Information Technology by George Reynolds regarding the said studies. The potential for decreased productivity and increased legal liabilities has led many employers to monitor workers to ensure that corporate IT usage policies are being followed. Many US firms find it necessary to record and review employee communications and activities on the job, including phone calls, email, and web surfing. Some are even videotaping employees on the job. With few exceptions, these increasingly common practices are perfectly legal. The Fourth Amendment to the Constitution protects citizens from unreasonable government searches and is often invoked to protect the privacy of government employees. Public sector workers can appeal directly to the reasonable expectation of privacy. So this is a standard established by 1967 Supreme Court ruling in the United States. However, the Fourth Amendment cannot be used to limit how a private employer treats its employees. As a result, public sector employees have greater privacy rights than those in private industry. You see, society is struggling to define the extent to which employers should be able to monitor the work-related activities of employees. On the one hand, employers want to be able to guarantee a work environment that is conducive to all workers, ensure a high level of worker productivity, and limit the cost of defending against privacy violation lawsuits filed by disgruntled employees. On the other hand, privacy advocates want to keep federal legislation from infringing on the privacy rights of employees. As a result, many privacy bills are being introduced and debated at the state and federal levels. As laws governing employee privacy and monitoring continue to evolve, business managers must stay informed in order to avoid enforcing outdated usage policies. A number of advances in information technologies such as surveillance camera and satellite-based system that can pinpoint a personal physical location that provides amazing new data gathering capabilities. However, these advances can also diminish individual privacy and complicate the issue of how much information should be captured about people's private lives. Critics raise concerns about the use of surveillance to secretly store images of people, creating a new potential for abuse, such as intimidation of political dissenters or blackmail of people caught with the wrong person or in the wrong place. Critics also raise the possibility that such technology may not identify people accurately. Here are some of the used advanced surveillance technology: camera surveillance, vehicle event data recorder, and a stalking app. Read the book Ethics in Information Technology about these technologies. Thanks for watching.